2, 1. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on wherever you at the time of recording. This is episode 122 of the Restricted Zone podcast. And right now, you with a 3-man crew today for now. Kyrie, introduce yourself to the fans out there, man, to support us.
What's going on, man? What's going on, Restricted Zone? Let's get to it, man. We got a good episode going on for y'all. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great episode for you guys. Kendrick, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Listen, as you already know who it is, it's the smartest man on the podcast, as I always say. Look, I got a little sidebar before we really get into things. You know, feel free to wish me happy birthday on Saturday. Feel free. I'm not saying you have to, but feel free to do so. I'm turning 24. I'm getting old.
Kobe,
and yeah, let's have a good show.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, man.
Definitely happy birthday in advance. I'll definitely make sure to wish you it on
happy birthday. Of course, happy birthday in advance. Obviously, guys, definitely go and come and wish our co-host of the show a happy birthday, man. Seriously, this guy's such an important part of the show, and we are very appreciative of what he does for this podcast, and we don't take it for granted. So, Kendrick, thank you, man. You've been a blessing to the show, definitely. So, that's for everyone else on the show as well. All right, so with that being said, we're gonna go straight into basketball, and man, it's a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but a good amount to talk about, and I'm gonna leave it to Kyrie to go ahead and mediate for us.
Yeah, it was just a little topic I had on my mind for a while since the NBA draft had wrapped up and we seen like the summer league and stuff going on. And it was a topic I've seen thrown around with a lot of other guys and a lot of other podcasts. So I figured we bring it here today and talk about it. And that's whether or not you guys see college hoops as being dead or sometime down the line college hoops becoming dead. And what I mean by that is if you take a look at this past NBA draft, 2023 NBA draft, where Victor Wembanyama went number one from France, from the French league overseas, and out of the other top 5 picks, 4 more people came from non-colleges. Didn't come from a college. So you have Scoot Henderson that went 3rd overall and came out of G League Ignite, and then you have the Thompson bros, Amen and Nassar, who came out of OTE, Overtime Elite. And then the lone player from college this season, the go top 5, was Brandon Miller out of Alabama. So given that, and given from what I've seen of what the 2024 class is looking like, there's a bunch of guys coming from overseas, a bunch of guys coming from a couple of guys coming from the G League Ignite. So I just wanted to put that question out there to you guys. Do you guys see college basketball as far as being dead, like becoming obsolete sometime? During the course of these next couple of years, I see talent and young players start to come from other grassroots and other origins, or do you guys think college hoops is safe, and with the NIL deal, with players being able to make money off their name, images, and likenesses now, that college basketball is still in a safe place despite this competition coming from other places? I'm gonna throw it to you, Kendrick, first.
Solid. I think college basketball, one, is not going to go nowhere because, I mean, even outside of potentially going to the league, some of these kids who commit and go to school don't always want to go to the league, but they enjoy college basketball. They enjoy doing these things. Some people say 4 years to get their degree, and it's still school at the end of the day, and people are still going to do it because they understand that there's more to life than your basketball career, because that's only so far. But even if you're a short-term college player to going to the league right away, like Brandon Miller and so many we've seen before, like Kyrie Irving, I can go on and on and on.
Right.
But my thing is, I would say college basketball would have became obsolete if they never created NIL deals, and solely based because it's like a lot of times they like. If you ever talk to any college athletes and ask them their schedule and ask them what their workout regimen is and dealing with classes and all that is a heavy load to put on somebody because it feels like you working 2 jobs and you not getting paid nothing. You feel me? Imagine.
And not to cut you off, but you start to feel some type of way when you see your jersey getting sold with your name on the back and with your number, and you not getting a piece of the pie, feel me?
You what's going on? I got a Devontae Smith shirt on right now, and he got money because I brought this. I'm okay with that. And I feel like that was the biggest issue because it was like how can we do this but make it legal? Because everyone knows that it was happening behind the scenes. Everyone knows. Like we made everyone else we put on a facade like, oh no, we don't know this is happening. What? How could that? We all know that was happening. We all know that this was going on. But to say college basketball become obsolete is such a far stretch because you got to realize that there's still some high profile coaches that you can go under and learn from and still improve your game and take it to the next level. That's one thing. You still got the coaches you should think about. I understand that going to the G League or going overseas, you can play. I get that, but sometimes like you gonna get a Coach K going overseas. Like you feel me? Like you gonna get some of these coaches now. Like it's just not the same. And then now that with NIL deals being involved and like they're even now Congress is getting involved. They're creating a bill where like it's like more solidifying a nationwide forearm for NIL deals where like the kids are able to get money now off their name, image, and likeness. Like even in California, they looking at giving the kids salaries up to $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that's chump change compared to a professional contract or compared to this and that. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're 18 years old. They're 18, 19 years old. I feel like it should have always been in part implemented because this helps them. So it helps them further than just basketball. First of all, it helps them financially, especially if they're in trouble or not coming from a great home, and also it teaches them to manage their money and be financially smart with their money in the future, starting them off small instead of throwing them into the fire and them getting a 10, 20, 10, 15, $20 million contract right off the bat. And then they blow their money. Like we've seen stories. Like you ever had, if you heard Shaq blew his money off his first big check. He said, I blew that. Like people blow money. It's way easier to blow money than to save money. But if they get that foundation started at a young age, even maybe even before college, but even if they don't got that ability until they get to college, them getting that money helps them in the long run and will also help with recruiting, with help with getting kids to be like, actually, you know what, I'll go to college for that 1 year, because still at the end of the day, they still have to play 1 year, whether you do it at the G League Ignite or with G League Ignite or Overtime Elites, or if you go to college, you could still, that's 1 year. And that's also subject to if you perform well in that 1 year. Because like you can go to the G League, you can go to G League Ignite or Showtime Elite, and then you have a bad year, then you're right back there the next year trying to bring yourself back and put yourself in a better opportunity to get drafted at in the top 5, top 10, or be in the lottery. So I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it, especially when you get money involved and everything.
Got you. I really like the points that you made, Kendrick. I agree with a lot of them, and we share a lot of the same viewpoints as far as what you're getting at, the value of college itself outside of basketball. And when inevitably basketball becomes the option, whether it's before you even touch the NBA and you hurt yourself, or after the NBA and maybe you weren't the best with your money, and you weren't the best with your earnings, you didn't invest properly, and you need something else to fall back on because by that point you're in your late 30s, early 40s if you're lucky, and life still goes on, and you still got expenses, you still got stuff you got to take care of. So I really like the points you made to that. But there is something I kind of want to touch on and maybe push back on a little. Whereas I want to pose a question to Colin, and you can give your explanation or your side after the fact. But what do you got? Like, what do you think when it comes down to this? Has been my problem. A lot of these guys, one, I got the point you're making, Kendrick, but a lot of these guys are making way more than $25,000 a year. Like, let's keep it a bean, like way more. And I feel like when it comes down to like the recruiting and stuff like that, and where guys are actually landing and signing their letters of intent to, it's really come down to just chasing the money and chasing the bigger NIL opportunity. And I'm not against that. Like at the end of the day, get your money, set your people up, set yourself up. Like I said, basketball is not forever. But at the same time, when I see a lot of these guys committing somewhere, then decommitting a couple months later to go somewhere else, or a lot of these guys going to school for a year. And Colin and your boy Sky Clark, he left Illinois after like 12 games or something like that. Now he's committed to Louisville, like just out of nowhere.
Really?
And just a lot
Wow.
of like,
Did not
just a lot of
follow.
like the flip flopping, and just a lot of like, I feel like it's in a certain aspect, it's taken away from a lot of the authenticity and a lot of like the realness of like college basketball in the sense from what I grew up watching, and guys staying like guys being loyal to their squads, and guys coming in with the recruiting class. And if it's like an older team, like they stay with that recruiting class. And it's just like I don't really see that no more. I see guys kind of just doing this like to play for themselves, and at the same time you can't really blame them. So I want to give that. I want to put that question to you, Colin. Do you think like the NIL money that's been introduced in these past couple of years having an effect, such an effect that we've seen on recruiting and where guys go and where guys play, kind
Man.
of takes away from the authenticity and kind of takes away from the joy kind of in college basketball?
Man, that's a great question. I definitely want to reference John Calipari, my favorite college basketball teams. Go Kentucky Wildcats. Yeah, shout out to that. Definitely, when he made a comment, a post-game comment, he said college basketball at this point, when in terms of recruiting, it's not even just recruiting high school students. You got to re-recruit the guys on your team.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Not only do you have to re-recruit the guys on your team, you have to recruit is not even. He said at this point, recruiting you don't even really know when you're done until August, when rosters should really be done by June, no
Mm-hmm.
later than early July, if we're really being technical. So the
Right.
fact that you still had to recruit even to the August to it's just wild. The NIL has definitely changed things. Guys are looking at things like I could tell you for my favorite team program, we lost 2 big time transfer recruits because Coach Cal just wasn't willing to bend to the NIL rules to a certain extent. Because it was just like, yo, are you guys coming to play for the team or are you just playing for money?
Right.
Like, what's the real goal? And I get the money aspect, right? The guys, like you said, the guys got to get their money. You can't blame them, right? They're working hard for this, but it kind of takes away the, like you said, the genuine and it just takes away from the realness of the game. It kind of
Yeah.
feels like, is this really college basketball anymore? It kind of feels like it's transitioning to the NBA, like more professional business. Guys have like agents now, and long they're part of the NCAA. It's like it's just so much going on, man. It's really turned into like a professional league, if you ask me.
And not to cut you off, Colin, you can go right back into it after I say this, but with the new transfer rule where you don't have to sit out a year anymore, after you transfer from one school to another, guys like I feel like they're kind of taking advantage of that too, to where if you feel like the school you committed to originally is not paying you as much, and you can just pack your bags and go wherever you want and not have to worry about missing a year or anything like that, and just hop right in the stride. And I can't remember who I kind of feel like it was John Calipari, but I can't remember which coach in general said it. But in like essentially like the transfer portal has become free agency.
Oh man, I mean, listen, that's the great thing you brought there. Because one particular player, he made some waves because he just did Alabama very dirty. Javon Quinley, Jelly fan,
Mm,
that guy, the former 5-star recruit that went on Instagram on the he typed out on the message, man, I should have had. What did he say? He said I made the wrong choice. I shouldn't have come here or something like that. Like literally,
wow.
like after a game, which is completely wild. End up transferring to where he transferred. I think he went. Yeah, he just went to Alabama. Didn't he? Yeah, then he
No,
just went to
he left
Alabama.
Alabama.
No, he left Villanova to transfer to Alabama, and so far he done well with Alabama. To be honest with
Yeah,
you, which is why,
he's transferring. He's transferring again though. I can't. I think he's going
yeah,
to Memphis. Yeah, he's going to
yeah,
Memphis.
he literally just did Alabama. To reference Jeff Goodman, it's completely ridiculous that guys are even still able to this late into like team. You see what I'm saying? Teams should already be settled in by then. Now the coach gotta like. I think he has about maybe two, maybe one more point guard. I don't know. He might not be technically screwed, but I believe they do have 2 point guards. Jaden Bradley. I believe they picked up another recruit. So it's like it's just crazy because now you change the game and the game plan and the team. Everything so because you're doing this real late into the summertime. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean the NIL definitely has shaped the way college basketball. I mean we can't even look at it it's turned into like a professional league. Seriously,
Got
it's almost like
so
it really has.
so with you saying that, where do you stand on as far as college basketball's longevity and what we can expect for in the future with these other leagues and these other places that are producing players are on the rise? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think which league was it? Was it the OTE, which allowed guys to even still be able to commit to a college even after they
You hit
was
the nail.
vetted?
That was the point I was going to make. They definitely do.
I was like, man, that's such a game changer right there. Because it's like, okay, if I don't lose my college, and I could still be able to commit to college and play, it's like that's such an advantage to maybe. Now, I'm not saying the NCAA will go away. I generally don't think it'll ever go away. I think it'll continue to get its superstars. And if it does transition back into the 3-year player guys, hey, I think a lot of people would like that even better because there's a lot of people been complaining about. Too many guys are just too many new faces. They never stick around. They got to know a team. Well, I guess the usual elite programs, honestly. But yeah, I feel like I think the NCAA is here for to stay. Like Kendrick had pointed out, them accepting the NIL was such a game changer. Because I really felt like and listen, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna really say this: LeVar Ball kind of pushed the whole. There's a different route. Like there's other players that's done it before, but
Yeah,
LeVar Ball, like with the big baller brand, it was really I want to say it was a failure, but it wasn't as successful, right? But
right.
the initial idea and what is done, just the
hmm
thinking, to have people think like, yo, the NCAA isn't
Some
paying our
some
kid for
some could
this.
argue that OTE took their kind of like their frame or their structure from him.
Right, yeah. No, honestly. And people like listen, LeVar Ball, we're gonna make jokes about him for the ridiculous statements he's made. I don't even want to get started on that. But seriously, the guy really is kind of a way innovative, somewhat of a genius, if you want to say genius. So hey, if you want to debate that, that's fine. I think his idea with doing that with LaMelo Ball kind of because remember, he went the orthodox routes with Lonzo, right? He told, all right, Lonzo, do your thing, go to UCLA. Lonzo did pretty good. But then, LaMelo, hey, you're not going to no college. You're going to go
hmm
overseas,
Great point.
right? And it turned out even better. Because I felt like if LaMelo had went to college, I don't think he would have had done as well, in my opinion. The college game, LaMelo is a free will type of guy.
Yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have been put in a box. I agree with you.
Right. He's a free will. You have to let him be him. You can't
Yeah,
restrict him in any. Or I feel like a coach, depending on what college he would have went to, but I really feel like going overseas was really the best thing that was good for LaMelo. So I feel like
right.
LeVar Ball with his thing, he's definitely introduced a whole new concept to like, hey, the NCAA is not the one and end all for your kid to be able to go play professionally in the league. If your kid is talented enough, if he really has the skills, if he really has all the intangibles and whatever great qualities that make of him being a potential NBA player, you will get noticed. And
Absolutely.
it pretty much has been the case. I mean, look at the draft. You pointed out before we even started recording. This draft only had one college player selected in the top 5. All of them were from different programs, international as well. So listen, the NCAA. I will say doesn't have a complete chokehold as it once did when it was formally introduced to one and done. Because that was what led the NCAA to kind of have its stronghold on pretty much the younger high school recruits and such as that. And
Right.
now it's definitely weakened to the point where now programs can actually, they're making a name for themselves. They can stand somewhat toe to toe with the NCAA. I think OTE definitely up there. The G League Ignite is definitely one of those. I think it's definitely been getting nice guys, recruits, prospects. So yeah, it's definitely on the rise. But I don't think the
Yeah,
NCAA will be.
that was a great analysis, Colin. I agree with a lot of what you said too. You made some great points, especially with the LeVar Ball thing. I honestly forgot all about that because it lasted one season. But
Right.
that was like that. Like I said, a lot of people could say, or a lot may say, like yeah, OTE got their structure and what they do in their organization from seeing what he tried to do or what his vision was from that one season. I think it's called like the JBL or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
think it was
you
big
made a
baller
great
thing.
point, and I want to bounce it on to Kendrick real quick. Uh, to like before go ahead and give you guys my opinion. Colin mentioned that OTE does allow players to still get recruited by colleges and still go to colleges. I mean, you've seen it with you got Rob Dillingham. Trey Parker, class of 2024, is going to NC State.
Come on,
so,
man.
I just wanted to get your guys. I just wanted to get your opinion, Kendrick, on how much of an impact do you think OTE allowing guys to get recruited by colleges still take that college route helps in maintaining that structure in the NCAA and keeping college basketball alive? How much of an impact do you think they have?
I think they play a very huge impact just because not even only keeping college basketball alive, and I feel like, and they're not even really trying to do it and more so for the NCAA, but they're doing it more so for the kids because they are being like, let's not keep this kid in a chokehold because we want him here or we want to do this. I feel like them doing that shows that we are willing to be versatile. We're willing to be whatever is best for the kids. And I feel like that's what people are ignoring because yes, you want to see for the entertainment value, as Colin brought up about, people are being upset that there's so many new faces. But at the end of the day, give me 1 second. At the end of the day, sorry, my dog's wilding right now. But at the end of the day, it's all about the kids and it's all about what is best for them and most beneficial for them to get to that next level to succeed. And it's like, why are we restricting them because of X, Y, and Z things when we should be giving them more? Being, okay, you want to stay here for a year, we're going to give you the best opportunity because you are at that talent level to only need to be here for a year and just to get to go where you're going. Because everyone has goals, everyone wants to strive to something, and they have the ability to, they have the talent. So if you them going to OTE is what gives them the best opportunity and talent to win and succeed in life, they should offer that no matter what it is. And stopping that is ridiculous in my eyes. And what OTE is doing is actually great just for the kids alone. I'm not even worried about the NCAA because I really don't care about what's beneficial for the NCAA because the NCAA is only benefits because of the kids. That's it.
You gotta let your dog speak. He wants to speak. Let him speak.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Let him speak.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab her. I'm gonna grab her once she stops chewing on my pants.
She has a great analysis building up within her. She wants to release.
But I'm gonna keep it.
Wow.
Since you want to see so bad.
As you guys gotta check out the episode. You guys get a special treat.
But I'm gonna keep it moving, fellas. I'm gonna go. Great analysis by both of y'all. I really like the points that you guys gave out, and I really like the in-depth analysis that you guys gave because you guys brought in some more perspectives that I was even thinking of at first. But I want to give you guys my perspective on what I think. And for the most part, I do kind of teeter-totter in the middle. I see both sides like damn near equally. Like I can see why like many may think it's asinine to believe or see like college basketball being dead or college basketball losing its popularity at some point or like sometime down the line. But at the same time, I also can see why many may think that this like the competition that the NCAA has now might be too much for them. And I'm gonna start off with that because I'm a harp on what I always harp on and what I always mention when it comes to the G League Ignite. It's the fact that they're playing against pros from day one, and they're expected to hold it to act like professionals and to hold it like in their standards that like put onto them to be like professionals. And just, like and for the most part, like the guys that we've seen come out of there, we've seen like play really well in the NBA and adjust a little bit quicker to the NBA. Some might say like a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, not so much, but we got to remember he's playing in a really complex system with the Warriors, and if you're not like a clear cut type of player for them, it's going to take you a while to adjust to them. But when you look at guys like Jalen Green, who again you can throw your criticisms at whatever at him, He's been playing really well. He's been a double. He's been an almost 20-point per game scorer his first 2 seasons. And when you also look at, I'm gonna throw a under the radar guy out there, Dominic Barlow, who earned himself a contract with the San Antonio Spurs last season. Watching him towards the end of last season, he showed to like have a lot of good instincts and really adapt well to the NBA game and to the speed, and was dominant in summer league this season. So that's someone else I'm excited to look forward to. But when you think like when you look at this and when you see this, I look at it from this standpoint as I can see G League Ignite being a big reason or a big problem why college basketball at some point down the line has a problem with maintaining talent or keeping their talent pool.
Don't they have a potential number? He's like a top 3 pick. What's his name? Mastas.
Matatu Zealous, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew. Sure. He is ridiculously talented.
If you watched, he had a podcast with JJ Redick, and it was just like, I don't know if it was just the vibe that I got from it, but when JJ Redick brought up college to him, it wasn't even really an option. It was kind of like, yo, when I got the opportunity, like G League Unite wanted me to come play with them and to come develop there. College is cool. I'm cool off that. Of course, just like everybody else, he gave out what colleges he would have went to or he was considering. But the demeanor he was giving me was like, yo, as soon as
I never really considered college.
Exactly. So when I'm getting into that is Matas, what I think was like number 1 in his high school class or number 2 or something like.
He was number 2 or 3.
Very high in his high school class. Same thing with Jalen Green. Same thing with Scoot last year. It's like,
they keep having top 3 picks. Like it's crazy.
Exactly. You're taking a top 3 to 5 like you're taking a couple of the top 3 to 5 recruits every single year, and that's like college basketball is missing out on that. I feel like imagine if G League Night was around back then. Imagine if we never got a chance to see Zion play at Duke. Imagine we never got a chance to see Cade Cunningham play at Oklahoma State or whatever. We never got to see Anthony Edwards at Georgia. Like we're talking about guys that were like top high school recruits, and G League Ignite had just seemed so good at being able to convince these guys to come play with them and come develop with them. So I think given that, and given with OTE, where we're seeing guys go and play there, it's like early as like their sophomore, junior years of high school, and they're kind of like, I kind of can see like them being groomed into that, like being a pro already, because at that point basketball is your life. They have tutoring and stuff often, like outside of like basketball or whatever. But at that point, to me, it's like basketball is your life. You're carrying like a pro at that point. So I think once these guys start seeing that OTE, G League Ignite, and even though like not a lot of people are considering it at this point, but even going overseas kind of gives you such an edge physically and mentally, and helps you like with your basketball knowledge in certain aspects that college doesn't really help you with, because and I'm gonna get to that in a second. I can definitely see the talent pool that we see in the NCAA start to dwindle like as years go by, because G League Night is going to keep getting those top talents. OTE is going to keep getting those top high schools when they're in 10th, 11th grade and getting them to come play with them and just develop with them. And I'm not saying like we said before, they still have like the option.
OTE starts early too. Yeah, that's the smart part.
Exactly. So you got somebody from 16, 17, like they can do overseas in Spain and stuff like that. Like you can start playing pro ball.
That's
You can start playing pro clubs at like 16, 17.
That's such a game changer.
Exactly.
People really sleep on that.
So I think like given these routes that you can take, like you can take to the NBA now, I could definitely see college basketball not losing its popularity so much, but just losing that talent level that we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing them get the number 1 high school recruit every single year. We're used to seeing them. I'm thinking back to like when I was in high school, bro. Like you rarely had to think about a top high school player like not going to college or not like taking like doing something but going to college. The question always was, what college are they going to? Where they committed to? And we always like for Ben Simmons, guys like Ben Simmons, like I mentioned earlier, Zion, and Edwards, when they were really big and coming out of high school, the only thing we was worried about was like, yo, when's that ESPN presser coming up and showing what hat they pick up? So like now, when you're thinking like number 1 players, you're thinking like even like I would throw up another name that's coming up in I think 2025 or 26, Cooper Flag, who's been killing it. When you bring up him, bro,
Cooper,
the
Cooper
thing,
Flag is
thing is
unreal.
now, but listen,
He's
the
not
thing is
real.
now,
He's not real.
We're not
He's not
focusing
real.
on what college he's going to no more. We're focusing on what route he's going to take in general, whether he goes OTE, G League Ignite,
I don't even think
or
he needs
overseas.
college. I really
I
don't
don't
even
think. I
think
don't
he
think.
needs
I
college.
think. I think college.
I don't. I think college is a joke at this point.
I think college is going to put him in a box too, kind of like you was talking with LaMelo.
Right.
I think
don't
college
think
is going
he
to put
should
him in
go
a
to.
box, and he's
But
like don't. What you
yeah,
gotta say?
I don't.
What you gotta say, Kendrick? Because you
See,
got
but
hype
my
now.
thing is
He don't even need to go to
first
college.
first of all, that man is a pure hooper. It don't matter. He's a pure hooper. But no,
Crazy.
my thing is,
I go watch this game. College.
see, but my thing is, I'm actually now like hearing y'all talk, and like it's making me realize that why are we trying to say it's bad that people aren't going to maybe college? Said that was because that was the thing, but this actually hearing it now, like hearing y'all thoughts about it, this actually makes it better overall for like everybody, because one, it gives different avenues for players to be able to succeed. So I feel like we shouldn't just be like, oh no, college is gonna be this. No, college is still gonna be college. But now the fact that they have more opportunities and avenues to go, it actually opens up the board to not only the top players, but even more players that are maybe that don't even crack. Like, let's see, because like, okay, you get like what, the top 20 players. Let's say none of the top 20 players go to school, right? Boom, they go G League, they go overseas, they go OTE. Fine. Okay, they do that. They do whatever. But then you got those rest of the top 100. You got the 30 through 100 who don't do that and go to school and then get the opportunity to ball out. And then now they're getting looked at as like, man, we should really look at them as a top 5 recruit now because they are hooping, because that is the thing. So really, in honesty, it's a blessing in disguise for people who aren't that highly recruited, or not even the top, or not in the top 20, top 10, top 5, because this allows them to make their way, because it's like, oh, they're over there, but I'm over here doing this and running this league. So I'm out here being a number one. I'm being number one here. And like, I get, like, you understand that colleges will put you in the will put you in a box. But let's be honest. I feel like if you really look at it, colleges don't really put people in a box unless it's a highly touted person. Like if you go to Kentucky, you're getting put in a box. If you go to
But no, listen, that's only because certain schools like Kentucky and like Duke, they have so many 5-stars that's come in there. You have to put them in the box.
Yeah, you have to. Come on.
Colin, don't do that, bro.
Colin, be realistic.
Wait.
Check this out, bro.
If Tyrese Maxey would have been the only 5-star recruit y'all had at Kentucky at that point, bro, there was no Emmanuel Quickly, there was no Ashton Hagans or whatever they're the ball with. It went crazy.
Hold on. Okay, but he learned to develop other aspects of his game.
That's true.
We're not
why he still succeeding in the league.
We're not
there. Bro, he's a bucket. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's out there for. He a bucket.
Listen, we not knocking the other aspect of what it all comes to. I'm gonna give even prime example. Look at the two recent top picks from, what was it? Well, when did Ant get drafted? A couple years ago, right? Was it 2 years ago? 2020. And then you look at Brandon Miller this year going second, and Ant went first. Look at the schools they went to. Ant went to Georgia, and then Miller went to Alabama.
Alabama's a great school though.
It is, because Colin Sexton came out of there as well. But let's be realistic. You look at that school, and there's like a system, but it's not really truly a system, because if a 5-star recruit go to a school like that, they're gonna go hoop, and they're gonna build that system around that 1 year, around him, around that player, because he is their best player on that team.
All right, that's true.
You go to Kentucky, you got you look at the bench, your 6th and 7th and 8th man.
What are you trying to insinuate? Are you trying to insinuate So what are you trying to insinuate? That the
Colin,
Kentucky
we're not just coming at
guards?
Kentucky, bro. We said other schools have had that problem over the years
I know,
too.
but let's
Like
look at the players that's come out the program and how they're all thriving, and most of them
I'm not
are thriving.
I'm not saying they're not thriving. I'm not saying that they don't deserve their flowers. Everyone who anybody who can commit and go to Kentucky and hoop there and come out of there, they deserve it. They're hoopers.
All right.
They're,
There's
we,
like so many of them. You can make an all-star team, literally.
yes,
So it's
that
like,
is, we can sit here and do that. But my thing is, there is
Colin,
a system in place at those top level schools. How can you have how you? So let me. All right, Colin. I'm gonna ask you this. Be realistic. If you
okay,
got a team, right? You got a
yes,
team. You're a college coach. You got a team. You
yes.
out of the 12 to 15 players on that team,
Mm.
three to four of them are 5 stars, and
Okay.
then you got like 4 or 5 other people that are 4 stars recruits, right?
Wow.
How are you going to maintain or even have a system or even have a logical game in creating a system so everyone can be there and be able to perform? Because you can because it's just impossible
Well,
to
I
be
mean,
like, oh, go do whatever you want. You telling someone who's a 5-star recruit who came from their high school, oh, you're the man, and you're gonna tell him, well, you're the man, but he's also the man, he's also the man, he's also the man, he's also the man, and you not have a system.
then I would tell you the answer would be to watch us this upcoming season, and then you'll have your answer.
What do you mean?
Because
You've seen it.
I don't really have, but it's like I don't really. So I would say it's the coach's ability. I mean, you got to be in it, like, cause Coach K. Remember, he was against the one and done rule, freshman and stuff like that, until you saw Coach Cal getting number one class. Then he was getting the number one recruit with the number one class. And he was just like, all right, wait, hold on a second. All right, this guy's been like really, all right, so let's adopt this one and done rule. Then they pick up Jabari Parker. Then it was Jaleel Okafor. Then it was Jason Tatum and Harry Giles. They had the number one class. That was probably
Brandon
that
Ingram.
class. Brandon Ingram. Then they picked up they picked Zion, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish.
Even looking at Duke,
they have monsters like classes and coach.
But this is gonna be my pushback though, y'all. This is gonna be my pushback.
Right.
When you look at it from this perspective, a lot of these guys that we're talking about, these high caliber players, these guys that even like now in this time point, that's like got like teams like OTE and G League Ignite are going to be prime for them too. They're going to be a competition for them too. Don't you think coaches are going to be or would be a little more selfish towards themselves now in this aspect? Where, and I'm not saying it's a bad, but they look at it this way: you're going to be here for 1 year regardless. I'm not building my whole program like just for you, and you're not going to be here next year. And the guys like I had come in with you, like to play with you, most likely aren't going to be here next year. I'm doing what's best for us. That's going to be able to get me, like, that's going to get me another year. That's going to get me like into the tournament this year. I'm like, I just feel like coaches are coaching on a season to season basis and aren't really planning long term no more, because they know guys like once you got beat with the coach, you think the coach not playing you enough. All right, I'm transferring and I'm going to be able to play next year. See you.
Got you.
Like, I can test the borders or whatever, come back and I can transfer. See you.
That's crazy. College basketball becomes so broken. It's actually pretty ridiculous.
But see, that's even more towards the point. Like, they play season by season, because you brought up a great point. They do play. If I'm a college coach, I'm building a system off the base of my recruiting class and who I get. Because look at it at the end of the day, how can you continue to get high caliber recruits? One, nowadays you get some solid NIL deals in Bob. That's one of them. Two, if there's a steady success of, oh, well, you come to my program, you hoop, do your thing, we make it to the tournament, you ball out, whether we make it to the Elite 8, Final 4, we win it or whatever. But if you ball out in that amount of time, you can go in the lottery, you can go top 5, and then that shows, and then other kids see that as well, and they can use that. Well, you saw what I did. We made it to the Elite 8. I had 2 people go in the lottery, 1 person go top 3, and then they're like, whatever he's doing, they're liking that work. That the NBA is liking what they're doing. That established players. So that's why, okay, I'm gonna commit there. Like, oh, I'm gonna commit to Penn State because he had 2 players go top 10, and then another player go like 20. That's three players in the first round, and that's all potential where I could be in that driver's seat because I am at that elite level. I'm a 5-star talent, and I get to have my show along with, say, a couple other people, and then we all hoop, and then boom, we in the same exact situation. Whether they go as far, it doesn't matter. They're worried about their draft stock, and if I'm a coach that can get your draft stock to the highest caliber, come play for me 1 year. I don't care, because I feel like as a college coach, you got to elevate yourself and the kids around you to get them in the best possible place to succeed, along with allowing to boost not only your school but yourself, because then, okay, the school's going to look and be like, man, we've been making the Elite 8, Final 4. We've been making the NC tournament every single year. We done won our division championship, or even our conference championship as well. And now we in the NCAA tournament. And then boom, we had 3-4 players going to draft. That's money towards the school. That's money towards the coach. The coach is like, the school looking at the coach like, we need to keep him because he brings not only the kids here, he brings a winning culture, and then it's just more revenue. It's like at the end of the day, you also gotta look at the business side of it and what is beneficial to not only the coach, but the school and how else all of that is involved. And therefore, that's why it's like, okay, they can make money. They can get here. I'm helping them. And that's why it's like, all right. And then sometimes you may need to build a system and you may adjust it every single system. And like, there's even players like you brought up about Kentucky about that. But if look at Darren Fox and Malik Monk. Malik Monk has said, man, I'm really a mid-range shooter. Like, I really hoop in the mid-range. That's my game. He said I was a 3-point shooter at Kentucky because that's what they told me to be. That's not a system to you? That's not, like, these are players coming out being like, I had to do this because this is what I was told. And look, he got drafted high. He still went first round, I think, in the lottery.
He showed off all. Yeah, they do turn in the first. Case and Wallace, another one, the latest one, for example, lottery pick, number 10.
Yeah, and you make a lot of good points, Kendrick. And trust me, bro, I agree with you like damn near 100%. But it's just something like
you're right.
Back in my mind like a rock. Like when it comes down to it, if I'm a recruit and I'm just thinking about it like if it's just me in that position, like I could get all that stuff I'm getting in college. I'll minus the education, of course, but the money, the exposure, but at the same time, I'm playing against NBA talent on an NBA floor. Like I'm playing on, I'm like the 3-point line is closer. So when I get to the league, there's not going to be an adjustment to the 3-point line, even though I have these guys shooting like 5 feet back from the line.
Yeah, they short.
But still, I see it every single year. Rookies definitely struggle with it. A lot of rookies definitely struggle with it. But mine is like outside of all that, like just the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, and just like knowing where to be. Certain stuff you learn by you just playing with pros. And I don't know. Since that's just been introduced to me, I just always think about it from a standpoint of it's me, like coming out of high school or whatever. I'm 4, 3, 4, 5-star or whatever. And I got a choice. Like I'm like, yo, like I want to challenge myself, and I want to play with the grown men. I want to play with people that's been in the NBA and played on teams and stuff already. I want to be coached by guys that either played in the league or coached other guys before. Feel me? And not saying college basketball teams don't have guys with that same experience themselves, but it doesn't run as deep. They don't have. They're not like it's rarely like actual NBA veterans or guys that played on that level before. So with that being said, before I toss off to Colin and wrap this episode up, I'm gonna end off with this like a last question like regarding this, and because I eventually like I actually wanted to ask y'all that like put yourselves in that situation, put yourself coming out of high school in that situation, what you would do. But I feel like this hits home a little bit more. This y'all son, feel me? Say you got a son, and he Mr. 4 or 5-star. He got a name for himself coming up like in high school or whatever. And he's got college interest. He's getting some G League and OTE and some overseas interest. and say he's like what 17, like around junior year when like a lot of guys like mainly commit, a lot of guys really like make that decision as to what the next step is. But put your guys in that position as far as it being your son, like a hypothetical son. What are y'all veering him towards? What are y'all saying to him? Like, what do you feel personally would be the best choice for him? And I know it's kind of hard because we don't got no kids, but like that's something I think about too. Like, yo, if I have a son and he like by some type of miracle able to be in this position, what would I be saying to him? Like, what would I like if he asked me like, yo, like, what do you think I should do? Like, what do I tell him? Feel me? Like, what I just want to get it. I just want to get it from y'all guys' perspective.
It's based on so many hypotheticals. Like, is our son hypothetically, it's so much to it, but man, that's tough. I'd have to see based on the son's abilities. I mean, like is he a 4-star? Is he a 3-star?
Okay, let's say let's make it clear cut. How about we make it real simple? Your son, 5-star talent. Like he 5-star talent and he's top 10 ESPN ranking. Top 10 ESPN.
Let's say he's a point guard. Let's say he's a point guard.
Point guard, 5-star, top 10 ESPN rankings.
Box-rated player right now. All right, got
and he's got offers from Duke, UCLA, Nova, like
everywhere. Like
at the same time, overseas teams. He's here from Ignite. He's here from OTE. As Pop, what you and as somebody that's seen this stuff in action and seen like guys can come from all these routes, what you telling them? Like what you telling me?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. As much as I want to say my college team, I'm gonna say GD Unite. I feel like with them, like you say, you're playing NBA talent. I mean, you're playing guys in college that'll be doctors, maybe potential, accountants.
You telling me that the Kentucky squad there's 5 players on that team that's gonna be accountants, bro? Be like Brown.
Or they're gonna be like Calipari's son, and he gonna be like an assistant, like gym manager stuff like that.
They might just do that. They might
they gonna find you something. Like you gonna get something.
Calipari will help you. Tyler Eulis right now is an assistant coach. Rajon Rondo was actually gonna be an assistant coach, but he had an AAU team, and that's for some reason still against the rules. So like he can't really do that unless he's abandoned
because that plays in probably recruiting and all that and favoritism and you mean I feel like that's the whole recruiting issue that's probably like a lot to unfold.
Right. So but yeah, he helps his guys though. As you can see though. So it's not like he's gonna leave you dirty. So I feel like but when you're playing guys who played in the league, battle tested, some of these guys went to the playoffs. They had playoff season with some of the squads. Ended up still journeying, to still playing basketball. Like you can't beat that against the guy. He's probably not gonna pick up basketball after he graduates. He'll probably play with his friends and locally, here and there. But or he'll go overseas. Take an overseas contract.
But you would want him playing against pros nonetheless.
Okay. And then college wise, Kentucky, and that's depending who Coach Cal brings in that class.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's even if Coach Cal was in coaching at that time. Jesus.
Why are you so desperate? What if he want to go to what if he want to come to Syracuse, bro? Like why he got to go to Kentucky?
Colin disowning him. He's disowning him. He's like, you're not my son no more. You're not my son no more. You said anything but Kentucky, you're not my son no more, bro. You're done. You're cut off. You better get a
low key, I'd be the same way though. You don't want to go to what? Say no more.
It's like, no, because our coaches aren't there. So it's like, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. At that point, I would say, son, choose your gut. Go with your gut feeling. I'll be with them on the recruiting visits, see how they talk, what's the game plan. Obviously, obviously you want your child to get not the most minutes, but just know he'll be able to get a chance to at least, show some of his abilities at least. So, but man, yeah, Calipari and Jim, like that's what I realized too. Kyrie to end it off. A lot of the coaches are kind of retiring from it just because of the NIL. They feel like it's too much. It's just too much uncertainty.
Jay Wright, one of them too.
Jay Wright, and he really had a team. He's gonna compete for another title. He just say, I'm
but
out.
Coach Cam Whitmore this year.
Yo, Imagine what he would have done with him. I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah. But Kendrick, let me get your answer real quick. I'll give y'all mine. Then I'll swing to the column to wrap it up.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to leave him towards college for sure. Because I mean, okay, let's say he goes to a highly touted Power 5 school for basketball. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you going into the NBA. You really think you're going to be him? Like, if you go top 3, then that must be a reason why, one, they have a top 3 pick, and 2, you're going top 3. You were supposed to be that differentiator to really come in and put the team together and be like, you're a cornerstone. You feel me? So yeah, because one, you're going to get put into a system when you get to the league. Like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. How many players in the NBA actually have free reign? You can count on your hand how many players actually have free reign. Like, okay. I'm just being serious. Right. Like, we could really, if you really want to. I mean, because look, how many superstars are actually in the NBA, and then you can count however many superstars are in the NBA. That's how many people have free reign on their team to do whatever they want and be like, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some names like Bron.
That's a crazy.
You got Bron, Curry, Giannis, Joel, Jokic. Like, come on, Luka. Like, these are high talent names where they like you the cornerstone. You literally the found you the one you 25% of the foundation right there. You 25% of our foundation. Yes, we're gonna build. Yes, we're gonna put a system around you. Yes, we're gonna do that. But they're already gonna be I feel like college, they put you in that knowledge to being like, okay, you're aware that systems are a thing, and you adapt. Whether you are the system or
it depends on who's the coach. But Kendrick, you did change my perspective though. Like, I'm not gonna say you definitely shifted my perspective. Because I will say, like, you know what? That's true.
I want his kid to go to Kentucky, bro. That's all it is. He just wants his kid to go to Kentucky.
He said, if it's not Calipari, then you might as well go straight to the league. We got to bring back straight out of high school drafted. He's coming straight out of high school, bro. I ain't doing that. If it's not
I don't even care. I just don't want him going to Temple. He can go to any other school besides Temple.
Bro, if he's a 5-star, he's not going there. Stop it.
He said, city on my back. He said, I'm putting the city on my back. Trust me.
Bro, they still want to come to watch you. Bro, they so far gone from some type of greatness, dog. They still wouldn't even show up to San Antonio.
All right, listen.
But so Collins, he leaves Ignite / Kentucky.
Yeah,
Kendrick,
not Kentucky.
Kendrick is the college hoop route, and I agree with both of you. I like the point that all y'all made. But for me personally, I know the first thing I'm going to say is go wherever you feel like puts you in the best position to display your talents to get drafted. Wherever you were, whether it's college, whether it's G League, wherever, overseas, wherever. But me personally, like I mentioned before, like many might assume I'm kind of leaning towards like the G League route. If I were to have some type of say in it, if I were to like just have to give my opinion, I'd be like, yo, I just personally think the G League the better route. Playing against pros, you're getting coached up like from pros, and you're just learning how to
the floor spacing. What you said too. That's another key part.
You're right in these guys' backyards. These guys got to watch these D League teams games anyway, because there's other guys on their teams that they got to watch or that they keep an eye on. You just might happen to be playing let's say
in front of a potential.
Exactly when you see the Bulls one day, and you have a great game against them, and they're not even watching them. We're not even watching the squad no more. They are going you like, oh, this out of high school, he's like nice. And so you just got that microscope on you. And I'll concur to this though. It's never for right now, it's never going to be as big as a college microscope. Because that's just what everybody's used to looking at. That's what just everybody's used to watching year in and year out, watching March Madness and seeing who's going to be the top pick coming out of there. But as far as having like actual NBA scouts and actual NBA personnel, like just always in your backyard, always watching you, always keeping tabs on you, and you having those connections through your guys on your team, through that personnel on your team, bro, you gotta go there. You gotta go there. And in Scoot's case, Scoot stayed there for 2 years. You don't gotta be one and done and go out. You don't gotta be like Jalen Green or Kuminga, one and done and go out of there. You just stay there. Scoot was there for 2 years. So that's just me. That's just what I would. But at the end of the day, I would have to say go wherever the better opportunity, because that's what all it comes down to. Whoever's going to give you the best opportunity, or whoever you feel like when it's all said and done is going to have you be the highest draft pick you think you could be, you got to go there.
All right.
But
That's
what I got to say about it. Colin, I'll swing it back to you, bro. Thanks for letting me host this episode and have this topic out there. This is a tough ass episode, y'all.
Tough ass episode indeed. I'm gonna edit that out because that's how phenomenal this episode was. Shout out to Kendrick. Shout out for you, Kyrie, hosting this episode, man. I enjoyed it. I know everyone's gonna listen to this and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed recording this, and that concludes episode 122 of the Restricted Zone podcast. Definitely want to give a big shout out to these guys right here. Love these guys. They've always been phenomenal. And give a happy birthday to Kendrick. You know, he's getting wiser. He's getting wiser on us, man. He's getting older. So, you know, the guys all, you know, we're all getting older. So, you know, and thanks a lot, man, for coming on the show. You could definitely check us out. What'd you say, Kendrick?
One more thing, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. Listen, make sure you really comment, because listen, and drop topics as well. We are always open to topics.
Absolutely.
We're always open to comments. We'll start integrating more comments and more things on here if y'all do that, because listen, everyone got an opinion. We want to hear it. We want to know what y'all thoughts are, because you might open us to something that we ain't even think about or ain't even know about. So make sure y'all doing that. Make sure y'all share with your friends so they can share it to a friend, to a friend, to a friend.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Thank you. That was definitely well delivered. And on that note, you can follow us on Instagram at Restricted Zone Pod. You can follow these guys here and everyone else on the crew individually. The link will be inside the description to the Instagram accounts. Also, like Kenzie said, subscribe, leave a like and comment. Definitely. You know, tell us what topics you want us to cover. We'll definitely do that. We'll obviously put some posts up, put in more question up posts on Instagram to see, you know, what type of episode you guys have in mind for us to do. So we'll definitely start doing that in the future. Be on the lookout. We're definitely having the baseball episode. Kendrick was on it. Our first ever baseball episode, man. Listen, this guy's been on the roll, hard working, birthday up, so he's got to relax. And so is Kyrie, been working on it. So, listen, man, our first baseball episode, yeah, man, we're touching the sports, man. We're talking baseball, football, basketball, and, you know, college basketball as well, also college football. So we're touching on sports. We're showing her how diverse we are. So definitely check it out. Be on the lookout. It'll be up within the next upcoming days, as long as this episode as well. So with that says, thanks a lot. Hopefully you enjoyed this recording as much as we enjoyed this. Shout out to you guys for, you know, supporting us. We really appreciate it. And you can stream us, subscribe, leave a like and comment, and we stay notified. Thank you.